Okay, so let's establish this real quick. You guys think more banners or more characters is good, right? Let's establish this. Tell me when they're going to actually put these characters in a convenient spot for you to acquire them. Because here was the argument. The argument was, if we're going to get more characters, that's more options for us to choose. But who are you going to pick? Herta the Emanator, or are you going to choose Fei Xiao and Robin? The answer is you're going to try and acquire them all if you don't own them all, which means you're going to spend even more money and you're going to feed into the predatory gacha practice that these love doing. It is not a healthy incentivization to say, let me put these two meta characters right next to the emanator of the erudition path. No matter how much you convince yourself that it is not. Is there anybody who wants to like rebuttal this in the chat, by the way? I'm not talking to people
this is just a Western CC thing. I'm gonna keep it about, man. Like, I swear you will only feel that this is you will only say a box had a W tick if you want to pull all characters. But frankly speaking, you don't need to pull all characters. I feel like having more banners or like more choices in a rerun is really good because it makes it faster. So that if they rerun more frequently,
wait, hold on. Makes what faster? Makes what faster?
Makes the rerun schedule faster. Like instead of having one rerun, like 1 unit per rerun, you now have 3, but every single rerun is like faster. So it will reduce the FOMO of every single time you get a new unit.
Think about what you're saying. You're saying it's faster. How is it faster if the average person doesn't spend more than 100 USD on the game per month? They're just looking at characters they're not going to get. That's not faster. Yeah, they still don't. They still haven't acquired the character. Okay, so look, they don't get it, right, Pokey? So listen, they don't get it, and then the next time the character pops up again, it's the next emanator. So then they don't get it that time either. So you see where we're going with this. It's not, you're not moving actually, you're just stagnant. You're never getting the character because you never actually have the resources to get the fucking character. Unless you spend more money, because you're going to acquire the most shiny toy, and then you're going to go, all right, I guess I'll spend more money to get this character now as well. You're just never going to get the fucking character. You're never going to get him.
No, man, I really don't think that's the case, because the flip side is if they make each rerun slower, right? So for example, if they rerun only Fei Xiao, and they make every single one like one rerun.
Okay.
The exact same scenario for you would still apply, except that if like another emulator comes out and it will like quote unquote power creep everything, then you would have put Fei Xiao regardless, and then she would be like power creep, and you would have no use for her. Like her use would be gone by the time the new emulator comes out anyway. By that logic. So it would be better if you have more reruns more frequently, increase the frequency, so that you have an option to choose which unit is good for that specific time slot. And you wouldn't feel the FOMO of like, yeah, sure.
If the vertical progression is what we're arguing here at this particular point, right? You're basically, so if somebody wants to play the hunt path characters, the follow-up path characters, correct?
Right.
They're going to want to pick up Fei Xiao and Robin. We're talking about new players too. They're inside of this argument. Let's say they want to play Fei Xiao and Robin and they just got into the game. They're going to have to either spend money to get both of them right then and there, because they're not going to have the resources to acquire them both, or they're going to have to wait for the next rerun down the line. How much is the resource acquisition per patch update to acquire one character? How much is it? What's the percentage to acquire one character per patch update?
You are not able. You are having less resources to get both characters at the same time. Like you won't have enough, basically.
You don't even have enough to get one character, Pokey.
Yeah.
You only have enough to get maybe 50% of a character. You probably are going to have enough to get 50% of a character. Keep in mind, Poke, we're talking about us being able to acquire them because we could just drop 100, 200, 300 like it ain't a fucking thing to us. But the average person is going to go through that patch. Maybe they'll get the battle pass, the welcome moon, and then they're going to have enough to get one character out of 4 characters. That's going to be the literal scenario every single time. Every time. And guess what? 50% of the content in this game, Pokey, is getting the characters.
Okay, but this argument wouldn't change anything if you had 1 rerun or 3 reruns in one patch.
Okay, so let me establish that. So maybe you're not understanding what my solution would be is. It would be good if they actually placed characters that benefited you in convenient spots. The problem is every time they do this 4-banner thing that you're saying is a good thing, they intentionally place them on the meta viable fucking paths where you're not going to be able to have the resources left over to get them. If they were to say, okay, we're going to give you Boot Hill or Robin and Fei Xiao after 2 patches after the fucking Erudition Path Emanator drops, that's much more of a preparation period for you to acquire those characters. But they're never going to do that. They're going to say, no, we're going to put them right next to this fucking Emanator. And then you're going to feel that pressure to want to pick them up right there. All I'm saying is, if they were to spread out these reruns into convenient spots, it would be much better and less predatory, less pressure on the player to acquire them. Does that make sense? They're never going to do it, though. And if they do, or if they already have, name a time they did it. Firefly was next to their fucking Ron May. Robin was next to Fei Xiao. Now guess what? Robin's next to Fei Xiao again. Boot Hill is going to be next to whoever the fuck.
Okay. Me personally, I don't think it makes sense, because you are saying if they were to pace it out, you will have more resources per patch, and you can pull for them reruns, right?
No, not more resources. Not more resources. I didn't say that.
Okay, you have more resources over more patches because you are splitting them across more reruns.
No, Pokey. My argument is you're in a much better position to pick that rerun character you want to acquire. It's not about more resources. You're just gonna have a better position on the board to go, okay, I can actually save for that character because they're 3 patches away instead of on the same patch as the one unit everybody's gonna pull for.
Yeah, because it's 3 patches away, you have 3 patches worth of resources compared to 1 patch worth of resources. So you do have more resources over 3 patch. Okay.
Yeah.
So if that is the case,
it's funny because you keep saying more resources, the same amount of resources. You're just able to decide how you want to spend those resources more effectively. It's not more. It's just you're able to decide
over 3 patch compared to 1 patch.
Correct.
That is an objective truth. Okay, done. So the thing with why that doesn't really change at all, if you want to get Fei Xiao and Robin now or Fei Xiao and Robin later, is because the Emulator will still come out later. You get what I'm saying? So if the Emulator comes out later,
no, that's not true. They don't just drop Emanators every single patch. You can't just like throw that out there like they're dropping Emanators every single patch. That's just not true.
No, but eventually the Emulator is going to come out.
Yeah, but that timeline's pretty important, Pokey. If the Emanator comes out every 6 months, guess what? That's plenty of time for you to get whoever you want and then still get your Emanator. But if an Emanator's coming out every single patch, now we got a problem here.
Okay, so Smack, this is talking about when an animator comes out. So this has nothing to do with reruns. If an animator comes out faster, it doesn't matter if Fei Xiao reruns now or next year, because the animator would have came out by then. So the value for that character will only be tied to how fast an animator comes out. So let's just assume that an animator comes out in the same time. So both cases, let's just say 6 months from now. Is that fair?
How about I'll just give you a better one? What if they dropped Fei Xiao and Robin 2 patches later instead of the patch they're dropping them on now?
And what difference would it make?
Well, then
because they're going to rerun anyways.
If you wanted one or the other, you would be able to acquire them and the Emanator. But right now, you cannot acquire one or the other and the Emanator because they're in the exact same time period. You realize my whole argument is boiling down to them trying to get you to spend money off of a fear of missing out versus getting you to spend it with a good amount of time to acquire the characters you want. And here's the thing, you're arguing on behalf of supporting what the company's goal is, which is to get people to spend the money. That's the argument you're making. Whereas me, I'm going, this is their goal.
No, Smack, no. I'm not. My goal is not to get people to spend more money, because this will only apply if you get in by the FOMO. But the thing is, if they make more reruns per single patch, then you would not have the FOMO to put them in this patch, because it's gonna happen sooner next time.
If they make more reruns, say that one more time for me, brother. Say that one more time for me again. If they make more reruns per patch,
reruns now, it will take a shorter time to get the next rerun. So you will have less FOMO, because if you, let's just say,
they're targeted.
If you miss Robin right now, right? If you miss Robin right now, you have to wait a longer time because there's only one single rerun per patch. So there's more FOMO for player if they only rerun a single unit at each time. Whereas if there's 3 rerun patches, they will rerun the next unit sooner. So there's actually less FOMO for players, unless you want to get everyone. Then that's not,
I get what you're saying, brother, but hear me out here. You're making this argument as if they're going to do this roundabout like way to make all limited banner characters have like eventually show up, right? That's the argument you're making. You're like, oh, it's going to go by faster. You're going to be able to see these units more often. they're always going to pick the units, though. You're making it seem like everybody's going to see every unit eventually, but they just pick the units that are meta viable and they place them next to meta viable units. Do you understand that?
Okay, I think this is based on what they want to rerun. My argument
That's what I'm saying. Yes, the house is in control. That's my argument, Smokey. The house is in control, brother. So like they get to decide what units are going to go out, right? So they get to decide that. That means they're always going to choose the same units in the inconvenient spots. They've done that. We've seen it. We have literal, according to tech, demonstrable proof of them doing that. They literally will choose the exact same unit. It's not like, oh, you're going to choose the unit I want. No, it's going to be the same units every time.
They run the same rerun units every single time.
Well, that's based off of what we've seen. When Firefly came out, they had Ranmei, right?
Okay.
And when Fei Xiao came out, they had Robin. Now, they just dropped the Emanator Erudition Path girl. Guess who's on her banner? Jade.
Mm-hmm.
All they're doing every time is pairing the best in slot character right next to the Emanator or the character that they're incentivizing you to spend on, which is going to increase your pressure and go, oh, well, their best characters right next to them. I guess I'll spend that one too.
Okay, then my question is what?
Huh?
What difference would it make if they just made a Jade rerun or a Jade rerun with Robin and Fei Xiao then?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. If they make Jade, who obviously is good with the Emanator, correct? This we all know this. Jade is gonna pop off with the Herta, correct?
Sure.
Instead of putting Jade in the exact same time frame as the Herta, put Jade in a whole different time frame away from her, because then you can pick both units up without feeling the need to spend more money to acquire both units.
Okay. But this argument is dependent on which unit gets a rerun. It's not the number of reruns per patch. My argument is not the unit specifically. I'm arguing for more rerun options per rerun is good for the player base, because the player base can choose.
Only if they actually are showing, or if they're diversifying the rerun options, though. That's what I'm
absolutely.
saying.
If they are not diversifying and they keep doing the same shit, then that is absolutely not good for a player base.
And how many times have we seen Robin?
Having more options is good.
And how many times have we seen Robin? You see what I'm saying? And then again, and Robin was put in inconvenient places, not in good places.
But having more rerun options does make it better though, because she gets rerun more frequently.
I agree with more rerun options makes it better. Yep. I feel like we're just dancing around. That is the only thing
I'm arguing for, by the way. Having more rerun option is better. That is like the main thing.
And Pokey, I agree if they do it correctly, but they don't do it correctly. They do it in the way to get you to spend money. I want to ask though, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, I was about to say,
I'm just saying that's completely like up to the company. And I agree if they specifically choose units that are like predatory, like, oh, it's like an emulator with Jade. If it's like a specific choice and it's not up to like just more options and just like diversify the options, then yeah, I agree it's bad. Exactly. But my only argument is assuming that they cycle it faster, it will always be good for player base because they cycle it faster.
And here's the thing, I completely agree with that logic. All I said is based off of what we've seen, they just love lining up the peanut butter and jelly combos in the exact same time frame.
Yep. If they always line up peanut butter and jelly, it's bad.
They do. They do. They're 10 out of 10 for it. They're 10 out of 10 for it right now. Every time. Peanut butter and jelly. Same period.
Sure.
It's funny because as we're thinking about this, Pokey, they're pretty much doing what Genshin Impact just did, except the difference is they're not debuting Premiere. Like these aren't Premiere characters next to each other. It's like they're reruns, but they're still peanut butter. It's still the same peanut butter and jelly concept.
Okay. I just want to say that I agree with your point, but the point that I was arguing
I get it. I got you. I got you. Yeah, and I don't think you're wrong either.
I agree. Yeah, peanut butter. Yep, PB&J is bad. I agree, but more options is good. So
correct.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree, brother. We're good. All right.
All right, we good. Yo, I'm gonna watch this whole affair. Y'all can keep calling, but
wait,
I'll be right back.
Wait, hold up. I'll weigh in real quick. You want to go watch the whole affair because you can if you want.
No. You're bringing. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. So for me, I think it's all about how it always goes with Helioverse, which is how do they deliver on the system? I don't think it's nearly as bad as the Genshin Impact one, because putting 2 new characters on a limited 3-week time period and then putting all the rewards on the second half, I think that's just super scummy. I do think there's a lot of pros and cons. I 100% agree with Mr. Pokey, where with more characters rerunning, that means that there's a higher chance, I'm using air quotations if you can't see that, higher chance of the character that you want appearing more frequently. However, it does 100% depend on the design of Hoyoverse. Do I think they're going to ever just say, oh, so now we'll release Tribby, who sucks, and here's all these other good characters you could pull for instead? No, I don't. I think they're going to put bad characters with bad characters and really good characters with really good characters, but that's just my pessimistic glass half empty take. Now, theoretically, it could work really well, but also theoretically, it could be very bad. I think that really sucks is it's going to be controversial because it all depends on how they deliver on it. And will Hoyoverse be fair and kind and give us patches where we get all the characters that we miss and not have to make a tough call? Yeah, probably not. But it sure would be cool if they did. I think that's the only issue. It's kind of just a wait and see on what happens. But I think.
I was just gonna say they are 10 for 10 though of doing the worst way. They're 10 for 10.
Oh, absolutely, 100%, 100 million %.
And yeah, that's why I was like, it's just every time it's peanut butter and jelly. It's never peanut butter and mayonnaise.
Yeah. Well, I mean, peanut butter and mayonnaise, white people love that shit.
That's fucking weird.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good, guys. Us whiteys, we know that shit. Yo, Mr. Monkey, did you say you were going to go watch the Hoyo Fair?
Yeah, I was gonna watch a Hoyo Fair.
Yeah, hey, good discussion too, Pokey, by the way, brother. I hope you didn't take that shit to heart. I love having those discussions, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, is there like a Honkai Star Hoyo Fair, or what is it?